Só para agora voar, tá bem?
This parking is 2 boarding requested.
Hello, Jenny. Welcome. Just wrapping up. Short flight to Madeira. Just boarding. Passengers are coming. This is Porto Airport. There's currently not much traffic. There's a couple of planes back there.
Passengers bus is coming.
So loading cargo. Beautiful A350, of course, fictional. TAP Air Portugal decided not to purchase these planes, but who knows, maybe in the future. There's some traffic jam going on over there. Huh. Here come the passengers.
Passengers
Yeah,
boarding
it
started.
does. That middle door is not opening. To left is not, the doors aren't opening, so the passengers will actually go in the plane. Also see the cargo actually being loaded. There's different types of containers. These are platform containers, but there's also individual bags. There go the passengers. Sorry about that door over there. Alright, so let's continue prepping. So this is a bit complex plane, but we basically loaded our flight plan. So we're going to check our flight data. So we're going to go flight level 410. Actually, let's do the route first. So departing from runway 17 via Azimuth to Romeo 7. Yeah, they are. So I think it's something I did. I won't say it's the software. I think I've been editing the aircraft a little bit, and I think I messed up that left door. If I go here, I probably, yeah, I can't open the door. I can open this one, but not that one for some reason. So there's something I did wrong here, but it's not important. As long as they go in, and they are going in. So 85 passengers loaded. That's what we want.
Passengers bus is coming.
More buses are coming. So let's check the weather. So let's go to ATC com, ATIS, request, and request. Madeira weather will be a bit rough, but departing will be okay. So yeah, no longer thunderstorms, but we do have we do have CB right there, cumulonimbus. So it's gonna be fun. All right, so let's go to performance. Let's set everything. So we should have partial performance for takeoff. So it's a bit technical what I'm doing, but I'm basically programming the flight with all the weights and all the data, the weather. This is the takeoff speeds. So let's go fuel. So I already have the fuel, but I do not have the CG. That will come later. So it will be 172.4 for the zero fuel weight. 172.4. And now for the block fuel will be 18.9.
Good evening. This way, please.
1.9.
Bem-vindo a bordo. Posso ver seu cartão de embarque?
Alright. And now let's check the OFP for the fuel CG. So we got zero fuel weight, that's correct. 172.4, 172.4, correct. Cost index 1.5. Alright. I think we're good for now. We're gonna have to come back to check on the CG. no
Posso ver seu
biggie.
cartão de embarque?
So we are going for 212 passengers.
Hello.
It's a
Welcome on
lot
board.
for Madeira.
This way, please.
It's going to take a
Hello.
moment to
Posso
load
ver
them
seu
all.
cartão de embarque?
Right, this one's done. So let's request
Good evening.
from our ATC
Hello.
clearance.
Posso ver seu cartão de
So
embarque?
let's go to 118
This way,
decimal
please.
68.
Hello.
Pressed it twice. All right, here we go.
Hello.
118 decimal 6. Sorry, 118 decimal 93. That's mixed up. All right, here we go. And now I'm going to talk to the ATC.
Passengers bus is coming.
All aircraft be advised information Gulf now current QNH 1014.
1014 check. Porto clearance, Air Portugal 770 heavy with you with information Gulf. Request IFR to Madeira.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Porto delivery, information Gulf correct, expect runway 35 Asmov 2 Whiskey departure with the Asmov transition.
And that's the one we
Squawk
programmed.
2561.
561, copy. Expect departure runway 35 via the Asmov transition via Asmov 2 Whiskey Squawk 2561 Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, read back correct. Contact ground 121.04 when ready for pushback or engine start.
121.04 Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Alright, so basically that was clearance, and I just contacted clearance. They gave me my clearance through the departure for runway 35. I'm going to show you the departure. So basically we got Asmov 2W, so let's go to Asmov 2W. So Asmov 2W, here it is.
Boa
So
noite.
let's pin it.
Hello. Good evening.
Alright, so Asmov 2W will make us depart from runway 35, going all the way north, and then turn left to PR 613. So we go to Udrub, then
Good evening.
PR 613, and all the way to the Asmov, and then we'll continue on our own navigation. So
Hello.
X exactly what we had previously programmed, so they just confirmed it. So just confirming the cost index is 15, correct. And the cruising altitude, flight level 410, we're going to set up 5,000 feet initial. Let's turn on constraints, traffic.
Olá.
For our
Bem-vindo a bordo.
co-pilot here, let's not mess with weather radar yet. Because we're on the ground, we're not going to
Boa
Re-
noite.
burn everybody with radiation for now.
Hello. Hello.
So let's continue on with our flight preparation. So terminal charts, we are pinned.
Hello.
Now let's go for
Posso
the
ver seu
airport.
cartão de embarque? Boa noite.
So parking stands, coordinates, this is the one we want. There we go. So this is where we are right now.
Posso ver seu cartão de
We are at
embarque?
the Apron Sierra. We'll probably taxi all the way down here, turn right,
Passengers bus is coming.
via Bravo, and then hold short runway 35 and expect the takeoff clearance. Now let's input our transponder. So transponder is like the, not the right menu. Transponder is like the aircraft license plate, if you want. Simplified way to see it. So squawk 2561. This is our squawk code. Let's turn it on. So we're now squawking to 2561.
Ryanair 75 Bravo Quebec, ramp 50 taxi via Foxtrot 1, Echo 3, Echo 2, Echo 1, Sierra 6 Bravo.
A little light here.
Passengers boarding starting.
Ramp 50 via Foxtrot 1, Echo 3, Echo 2, Echo 1.
So what we need now is the cargo doors are closed, except for the bulk cargo. But you can close it, doesn't need to be open. So currently we're loading passengers. And, we're pretty close to the 324 passengers. After that we'll have the zero fuel CG with all the passengers sit. This is for later. So just going to show you our route will take us by far night.
Welcome me on board.
Our route will take us all the way down here,
Welcome me on board. This
about
way.
1 hour and a half, 1 hour and 45 minutes, but I'll accelerate time to make it shorter.
Por favor. Good evening. Posso ver seu cartão de embarque? Hello? Hello? Posso ver seu cartão de embarque? Good evening. Hello? This way, please. Hello? 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 Olá? Posso ver seu cartão de embarque?
So we're now just waiting for the boarding to complete. And we're done. Yeah, it's Brazilian, it's not Portuguese, but from Portugal, but it's all right. All right, let's prep our plane for the startup. So the first thing we do is turn on our APU. So APU is coming up. And let's do our before cockpit preparation checklist. So gears and pins have been removed. Let's confirm it because I've done it earlier. There we go, they're removed. Fuel quantity is set. Seat belts will be on in a moment. Right, APU is coming back on, and better reference cross-check. Set and cross-check 1014, 1014. Set and cross-check. Checklist complete. So we got some plane coming behind us. There it is, it's that Ryanair is turning on. You'll probably push back in a moment. So just waiting for the APU to come up and request pushback. Let's turn on our APU bleed. 83%, and it's available. So it's now powering. We're self-powered. We can turn on our GPU connection. We actually have 2 of them. And now let's go to the ground facilities and let's just turn on our beacon.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
And this is just the GSX warning us that the parking spot is too small, but it's not. This is where the A330s actually park. This A350 is slightly larger, but if we zoom out, it's a little bit off the boundaries over there. These two red lines, slightly out of the boundary, but there's no plane parking here, so in real life they would just push it somewhere else, probably over there, that terminal area over there, but here is fine. So something happened. It didn't actually
This
prepare.
parking is too small for your aircraft.
Prepare for pushback. Something's fishy.
This parking is too small for your
Alright,
aircraft.
it's been requested now, so the stairs will be... First, doors are going to be closed, the stairs are going to be pushed out, hopefully. Yeah, Jenny, it's my favorite aircraft of all time, and it's a beautiful airplane. It's very modern in terms of avionics. Something's going on because the stairs aren't coming out. So I'm gonna do this manually. I'm not sure what's going on. Can turn off the GPU. Chocks are off. Parking brake set. So we just wait to see if GSX.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
Yes, I know,
This
lady.
parking is too small for your aircraft.
Yeah, this has happened to me quite often. There just seems to be a problem with the way GSX sometimes operates and just locks. Sorry about that. I'm gonna do something real quick. It's not supposed to happen. They're supposed to undock. Stairs should be backing up. Doors closed. Everything ready for departure. But because it isn't, I'm gonna reset the program. And now they're gone. Bad thing is I won't have any pushback for a moment, but we'll get there. So the plane is self-powered. I'm wasting fuel on the APU, but it's for a good cause. Oh, hello, Jose. Hello, Mersha. How are you? Thanks for watching, by the way. I don't usually get much viewers. Alright, let's go for the performance pitch while we're waiting. Actually, I can request it now. Request the pushback.
This parking is too
Alright, let's see if it now prepares for the pushback. Alright, well, let's go for Menzies. And see if it worked. These guys need to work on this software. There they are. Menzies are working. Alright, here we go. So let's carry on with
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
the performance for takeoff. It's set. Now let's go to the fuel and load because we need to load CG. Alright, let's go for CG, and that's 27.71. 24.71.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
24.7. And set. So when everything is preset, let's go for the 4-star checklist. Parking brake is set. Takeoff speeds, thrust is set on both sides. Slides are armed, or they should be. Let's confirm. No, they're not. Let's arm them. Alright, they're armed. Beacon is on. Nose wheel steering disc memo checked. So this nose wheel steering disconnect right there. You can see it. Hold on. There you go. Nose wheel steer disconnect. Oh, Mersha, thank you for subscribing. Alright, so we're now going to wait for the clearance. So let's call Airporto ground. Porto ground, Air Portugal, 77 Zulu Heavy, ready for push and start.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Porto ground, pushback and engine start.
Probably south.
Face south.
Yeah, there we go.
Release parking brakes.
Facing south, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Alright, let's release parking brakes.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Alright, I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. Let's confirm checklists. Because the sound of this plane is just amazing. Here we go. starting number 2. It's a little quiet. They're so far up front. Haha. Hope you like it, Jose. I'm going to accelerate time, so if you guys think don't want to stay here for long, the flight is a 1 hour and a half, 1 hour 45 minutes, but I'll accelerate time for the sake of the stream. Because the landing is going to be, there's thunderstorm in Madeira. Alright, number 1 is available. Let's start number
Please set parking brakes.
the other way.
Waiting your confirmation for the engine start.
Thanks for subscribing as well, Jose. So let's turn on our little lights outside so we can see better. These beautiful Trent engines. Can you imagine watching this landing live? Right. We need to confirm engine 1 start. So these boxes tell me that this is the engine starting, just in case there's some mix-up while starting up the engines. A350 is a state-of-the-art plane, so you see it's all touch screens, so not a lot. So engine 1's available. Let's set it to normal. Let's bring down our flaps, and let's call ground and tell them that we got a good start.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect. Unlocking gear.
Yeah, I'm going to land in Madeira. Sounds like overkill, but it's actually not. It's actually within the parameters of the plane. We might have a short runway warning, but that's just a warning. It's no big deal. Let's call ground to taxi. Porto ground, Air Portugal 2, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, ready to taxi to the active.
Tow truck disconnected.
Air Portugal
Bypass
77
Inibuilds.
Zulu Heavy, runway 35 taxi via Sierra 2
Left is clear.
Bravo.
Right is clear.
Yeah, just as I thought. So we're going to go through Sierra 2, Charlie and Bravo. Taxi to runway 35 via Sierra 2, Charlie and Bravo, Air Portugal 277 Zulu Heavy. I'm saying Air Portugal 2 because my previous flight was Air Portugal 22 Heavy. Alright, we're cleared. Let's just wait for the little guy to tell us it's okay. Let's turn on some external lights to see something outside. I don't see. He's probably on the other side, so he should be signaling the pin. Oh, there he goes. He's over there. It's a little dark, but he was beneath the panel. That's why I didn't see him. So we're cleared for the. We're cleared to taxi. So let's go. Little power. Little power goes a long way in this plane. There it goes. Well, let's continue our preparation for takeoff. So let's go through at the after start checklist. NTIs already? 118.005 Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. That was way too far from the runner, but okay. So let's check our flight controls first. We'll reach them in a moment. full left, full right. We're looking at this panel here. Pitch up, neutral, pitch down, neutral, full rudder right, whoops, full rudder left. I got to turn on the nose wheel steering, disconnect. Let's go back to the taxi line. So we're taxiing down here, so let's zoom in a little bit. Taxiing all the way down to Bravo, and we'll hold short 35 on Bravo and call tower once we get there. This AI ATC is a little touchy. So flight controls have been set and the ground clearance was received. Checklist complete. Let's turn here for Bravo. It's a big plane, so we're going to have to wait for the line. An old captain used to tell me if when in doubt, make sure the line goes between your legs. It's exactly what I imagine sitting on the cockpit doing that. So we're gonna hold on the visual point Bravo, which is right here where it's written 3517 on the floor. And there we go. So there's little traffic today on Porto, probably realistic, not sure. I usually fly from Lisbon, it's a lot more hectic. All right, so got the performance page up. Let's bring our flight plan over there. Let's go confirm we got all checklists, taxi checklist. Flap setting is set. Radar is on. It's this little green light over there, system 1 and system 2, it's on. And now this is the ECAM line, so we're gonna go checklist complete because now we got the ECAM memo right here. We don't need that other one. So right now we got signs should be on. Signs are all on. Cabin's ready, we're waiting for them. Ground spoilers are armed, flaps set for takeoff, auto brake to RTO set, and the cabin is ready while we were talking, which is quite cool. Now I press TO config for 2 seconds, so 1 second, and it's normal, ECAM memo, no blue. So let's go, before we join in, let's bring up our checklist for the lineup. So cabin is ready. Takeoff runway 35 confirmed up ahead. Packs 1 and 2 are on. So lineup checklist complete, we can carry on. Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy ready to departure runway 35 holding short.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, backtrack runway 35.
Backtrack.
Ready for departure.
Backtrack. Backtrack runway 35 of Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Backtrack, what does it mean? This ATC is crazy. We'll just line up. So let's call the cabin, tell them where we're about to depart. Take off flights. And there we go. Roll. Not sure why it's telling me to backtrack, because runway's right here. Yeah, doesn't make sense, Mersha. Not sure what's going on. This is AI, so it's not like scripted. It's continuously trying to control me as well, as real time as it can be. Sometimes it's just nuts. So let's tell them we're full ready. Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy full ready for departure. Turn off our APU here.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Oporto Tower, wind 180 at 3, runway 35 cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 35, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Here we go. So, bear with me. It's gonna checklist complete, by the way. Whoops. Let's go back to performance. performance. So 143 knots, its rotate speed. All right, here we go. So 50% and 50% thrust. Wait for the engine to stabilize. And let's go manual flex. Release. Thrust set. Actually, it's not up there yet because these engines, they take a while to spool up. But airspeed alive. 80 knots. 100. Waiting for V1.
V1.
Check. Rotate. Positive rate gear up. Need an extra set of hands here to set everything up, but here we go. All the way to the right. Thrust lever to climb.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, contact Porto departure 120.91.
120.91 Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. So we're changing frequencies. Departure Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy with you, 2,000 feet.
Porto Tower Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, feedback is acknowledged. You are currently at 2,000 feet.
Yes, that's right. Oh, they didn't change the frequency. Stand by. Let me turn on the autopilot here. It's not doing this. It's a bug. It should be tuning the frequency, but it's not tuning. So that's why it's replying weirdly. Departure Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy with you, 2,500 feet. Sorry about that.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Porto departure, identified to climb to flight level 190.
What's it doing? What is it doing? It's not following the procedure. Flight level 190, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Meanwhile, we do need to go. What is it doing? It's not following the flight plan.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, you're off course.
Yes, I know.
Direct azimuth. Resume on navigation.
What am I doing? Well, let's go manual. Let's go direct to azimuth, which is to the right. The perks of flying modern.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, you're off course. Clear direct azimuth. Resume on navigation.
Direct to azimuth, resume on navigation, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Yeah, go Jenny, thanks for watching, bye bye. And you too, Jose, thank you. So let's go to altimeter standard. And let's continue our turn to azimuth, which should be somewhere on the right side. Don't know what happened here, to be honest. I think it just deleted, because you see the azimuth point is right there. I must have picked the wrong departure, but it doesn't matter. We can turn back in. And actually do something. You can delete this viewpoint. Delete this viewpoint. Now let's go present position to direct point. And now we can fly direct. And there it goes. So it's going to fly direct to Asimov here when it should be doing this little left turn. I think I picked the wrong departure. That's probably what happened. Anyway, crisis averted. You're still going. See you soon, Jose, and thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good evening with your family. Right, let's go back to the flight plan.
All aircraft be advised, information hotel now current QNH 1015.
1015.
Porto, Vueling 23 Lima, Quebec. Good evening, 1,100 feet.
So let's go to the after takeoff checklist. Actually, this plane doesn't have it, sorry. But we're gonna clear our speed brake, turn off our external lights, let's turn on our weather radar. And there's the Asimov as we were cleared. 19, flight level 190. So it's going to take a moment.
Lufthansa 07 Kilo, flight level 184 with information hotel.
So this is the route. Probably go accelerate time between these 2 points here. So for now it's going to take a moment.
QNH 1015, expect the RNAV runway 35 with the Akilu transition. Lufthansa 07 Kilo.
So let's clear our flaps. This is why we need an after takeoff checklist. I don't know why it's not in this plane, but we do get a memory item for the after takeoff, so it's my bad not to clean up the aircraft. I started it by turning off the ground spoilers, but I completely forgot the flaps. It doesn't matter in this plane because it will not accelerate beyond the flap speed limit, so it will never damage the flaps. But still, on the 320, for example, you do need to bring in those flaps, otherwise you'll get an airspeed warning.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, contact Lisbon Center 119.
Let's change frequencies. 119.55 at Portugal 77277 Zulu Heavy. It's gonna give me a hard time. I actually accepted it. 119.55. It should be auto-tuned, but it's not. Lisbon Center at Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, with you flight level 170.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Lisbon Center, radar contact, climb to flight level 410.
410. Flight level 410 at Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. Alright, so that will be cruise altitude.
Easy 29 Lima Tango, contact Madrid Center 118.275.
So far we got clear skies. Yep, no, nothing on the radar. Let's observe traffic if we got any traffic here. Copilot was already monitoring traffic, but just in case. Because there's no one there, there's no one sitting there, oh my god. We're about to make our last turn inland. Well, we're already over the sea, but when I mean inland is the last turn before we turn all the way down to Madeira. After that, I usually turn off the seatbelt signs.
Expect a Sebi 2 Bravo,
Actually,
runway 20,
turn
air
off the
Portugal
mobile
136.
devices and the seatbelt signs. 'Cause this is the harder turn. Then all these other turns will be smooth. See the entire route to Madeira right there. So no turn. So I usually turn off after this turn here.
Alpine 49 November Yankee, Lisbon Center. Expect Inket 6 Charlie, runway 35.
Expect Inket 6 Charlie, runway 35, Alpine 49 November Yankee.
Alpine 19 Tango Hotel, contact Lisbon, approach 125.13.
Let's turn off
Contact Lisbon approach
seatbelts.
125.13.
Leave it in
Alpine
auto.
19 Tango Hotel.
And I'm gonna go all the way down here. Now, before we do that,
106, turn right, heading 110, vectors for the approach.
I'm gonna prepare my
Turn right.
approach
heading
to
110,
Madeira. Now,
110.
one thing with Madeira is that the weather is always changing, so we need to constantly be monitoring the METAR.
Approach 128.5.
So Madeira right now is 35083. This could change very easily. There are CB, so this is cumulonimbus, this is thunderstorm clouds.
Alpine 49 November Yankee,
Uh,
Inket 6 Charlie, runway
QNH and dew point seems like it's not raining for now. There's no shower or rain indicator on the METAR, but this could change very rapidly.
Alpine 49 November Yankee.
In any case, we'll have a look at weather as we get closer, but let's prepare our arrival.
descend to flight level 150.
Let's go for our flight plan, routing,
Descend to flight
and
level
today's
150,
approach
Alpine
is runway
49 November
23 via Litro 1 Papa. This could change, but let's input that for now. 23. Let's go for RNP to make it safer. Via Pilim, and star will be the Lidro 1 Papa, correct? Yeah, Lidro 1 Papa. No transition. Actually, Pilim is already inserted on that approach, so no point in making just a transition. All right. So this is what's going to happen. So we are going to zoom out slightly so we can have a better look. As we get closer, it's more or less a direct approach, but there's a slight deviation out of Pilim. It's hard to see here, but it's not direct to the runway. It's going to go all the way to Mad 403, but then you have to make a slight right turn to runway 23. Right there. If this changes, the approach is pretty much the same, except
Ryanair 1907.
instead of going direct to 23, it's going to take us all the way down here to this point here. Let me center this correctly.
Ryanair 1907.
It's going to take us out of 403 or something similar. It's going to get us out of Pilim, and it's going to make us go all the way over here and then make a visual turn to runway 05, so like a curve to the right. If that changes, but currently we're going direct to 23. Right, we can turn off our external lights completely.
Feedback 5 Delta Papa, descend to flight level 130.
Descend to flight level 130, Speedbird 5 Delta Papa.
So let's go back to the arc. Let's prepare our performance for the approach. So runway 23. So winds are 35083. It's not really favoring 23. So I think this is going to change. But since it's variable, I don't know. Let's just input these winds for now, and then as we get closer, we'll go through them again. So Wind is 350, 3 knots. We can land with tailwind, there's no problem, up to 10 knots. But we don't want to take chances with variable wind and gusts. QNH 1014. Now for the barrow, this is interesting. So barrow is pretty much our reference altitude to either land or board. So this is the minimum. So we got it right here for Madeira. So as we approach here, our minimums, sorry, what am I looking at? This is radar minimum altitudes, not what I wanted. So let's go for the RNAV approach to runway 23.
Portugal 1369, SB2 Bravo, runway 20.
So it's going to be RNP runway 23 right here. So right here we have the decision height on this field here. So it's 1,390 feet. So at 1,390 feet, which will bring us somewhere over here. Sorry, over here. This is for 05, for 23, it's going to bring us all somewhere over here. This is where we're going to decide whether to land or not. If at 1,390 feet we don't get a runway, we go around. And that happens more often than we expect. So 1,390. The plane will tell us the altitude. It will tell us minimums. And when that happens, we either decide to continue or abort. So just for the sake of explanation, the difference between the runway 23 is that instead of, if we go to runway 05, we have to do this curve. So you see, we are already making a curve out of Pilim, which is right here. Make a slight left turn and then a right turn to land on 05. As for runway 23, it's completely direct. This is the RNP for the visual approach. So this is the arrival. Let's pick this one. And the visual for 03, which is the one. No, this is the visual approach. We want the Bravo. This is the one. So Bravo and the arrival. So the Bravo is the initial point. So at 1,390 feet, if you don't have the runway, go around. And then on the arrival itself, which is this one. So after that point, we can continue. Then we'll have another decision height, which is at 490 feet. So this is different. This is when we pass this point. At 490 feet, we should be having the runway still. If not, go around. And sometimes it happened this morning or this afternoon, Madeira was like that. All of a sudden, no visibility on final. It was visual for a moment, and then all of a sudden the runway disappeared. So it can happen. So for now we are mid-Atlantic. So let's accelerate time for the sake of this. So we go to options, simulation, and let's go auto. And now it's accelerated 4 times, so it's going to take us there a lot faster. It's not realistic, but we need time. This is our plane from the outside view, so it's going at Mach speed. Mach 1, something like that. Awfully fast, but so this is the ETP. Let's go make a little zoom here. So you see on my ND. There's this thing called ETP. This is like the point of no return, if you want. It's basically halfway through the flight. So if I have an issue before ETP, it's safer to go back to the original airport. After ETP, it doesn't compensate to go back. It's better just to go forth. It's based on fuel and range calculation. So it's basically telling me if you have an issue before ETP, you might as well just come back. Instead of going forth, you'll have more fuel than if you go forth, or the other way around. If I go beyond ETP, it's closer to go to the destination than to go back for some reason. And also we have to equate for the alternate. So our alternate for today is, sorry, I'm trying to press this button. So it's GCTS, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Tenerife. Yeah, I think it's Tenerife. Sorry if it's not Tenerife, but I think it is. So the fuel, it's constantly being calculated. So you see here, we got 9.6 tons of fuel predicted at Madeira. When we fuel this plane, we have to take into account lots of factors. So it's not just fill it up. We need to take the exact fuel that we need, because fuel is expensive. So we got fuel for the trip, 9 tons for the trip. Then we got contingencies, 1 ton of contingencies. And we got the alternate, 5 tons, it's 5.4 tons. And this is the an extra fuel for contingencies, further contingencies. And then we have the minimum takeoff. So this is the minimum fuel I'll need for the departure. And we also have the taxi fuel. All summed up should be 18.9 tons just to fly to Madeira. It's a very heavy plane, takes a lot of passengers. So a lot of fuel. So the plane is constantly monitoring the fuel quantity on board, plus the performance. A lot of things can affect my flight, including wind. We now have a nose wind, 25 knots. That's affecting my fuel consumption. It's nothing serious, but it will cause some contingencies if I'm not. Oh, hold on, we got some radars picking up something. We are now leveled at flight level 410, 41,000 feet, and there's some mild turbulence clouds up ahead. It's actually not serious because the radar is looking down and it's all green. There are no reds or yellows to worry about, at least for now. This is our point of descent, so this is the point where the planes will tell us to start descending. Before that, we should have a clearance from the ATC, of course. Landing performance. So let's sync the data. So let's prepare our descent for runway 23. Oh, sorry. Prepare our descent for runway 23. So this is going to be a manual landing. Let's set up a medium and full reverse. Config full. Runway condition dry. This is where something we don't know if it's actually dry or not, but let's hope it is. Now, it's telling me with this configuration, I'm going to need 790 meters to stop this plane. If we go to the chart, we'll go there in a moment. It's within the very minimum limits for Madeira. So the plane's a bit heavy, but yeah, we can make it. It's just that it's going to be very tight for Madeira to land with this little margin. So it's going to take us pretty much all the way to holding point Bravo, I think. so we'll see. Coming back to our map, we're halfway. As you can see, it coincides with the ETP symbology here. I'll turn off weather radar to see it better. So ETP symbology here, so we're pretty much halfway as we see on the chart. So we were about 200 miles from top of descent. Time is accelerated, so we'll get there faster than the real flight. Current flight time is 44 minutes accelerated. So yeah, it's about 20 minutes more than actual time. Time acceleration is a blessing for flight simulation. But I am from the day when I flew Air Canada in the Boeing 747. I did those 12 to 14 hours of flight in real time. I did a lot of things between takeoff and landing, of course. I would read books, I would study manuals, I would study for school, but I did do those real-time flights. Nowadays, it's just accelerate time and hope for the best. I do have to monitor the plane constantly because sometimes things go haywire. Winds will be abruptly changing and it will mess with the autopilot, and all of a sudden you come back to the cockpit, the plane is inverted. So you really need to monitor, but it's pretty standard things these days to just accelerate time. I was gonna put the flight plan here, but I'm gonna stick to my config here. I'm just gonna update my data here. So yeah, see, the winds have changed again. Now it's variable 2 knots. And now I don't know which runway to land on. I'm gonna have to wait for the ATC to tell me. So you see, things change pretty quick in Madeira. So we are still on runway 23, but I'm not sure with this variable wind. They could easily change to runway 05, we'll see. Never trust Madeira weather. Really need to monitor it. So let's go through winds. Let's check the winds on descent. How are they? So yeah, we're still gonna have nose wind, unfortunately. On cruise, yeah, nose wind. All these are nose wind. It's better than going to the Azores where we get the jet stream. Sometimes it's really nasty when it's on the nose. So about 100 miles for the top of descent. So we're 115 miles from 12 miles from the top of descent. At about 40 miles, I'll turn on the seatbelt signs. By that time, we should also be getting our clearance, and then we'll know for sure which runway we'll use. And then I'll go for my terminal charts to verify, because if it's not 23, everything I've done earlier, it's pointless. If it's 05, I hope it's 23 because it's an easier landing to do at night. Safer, at least. But we're not babies, we're men. We can handle it. So also got some yellow dots here. Some mild turbulence. Not serious yet. I think it will be in a moment. I'm observing the weather chart for Madeira as I approach. This is updated real-time weather, so looking at real-life data actually helps in the sim. So what I'm seeing now, I can't show you because it's a different program, is that all the way down to Pilim, so all the way over here. This is Lidro, so beyond Lidro, let's so all the way down here, it's all fine and dandy, but on the weather chart and everywhere around Madeira is red. So there's turbulence and strong winds right there. So it's gonna be fun. Approaching the top of descent, as soon as this bracket here crosses these dotted lines, I'll press my seatbelt signs. I'll decelerate for the sake of starting descent because I don't want to have a crash. So let's wait to confirm everything, and then I'll have to reprogram all the way down to the 05 if it indeed changed. Alright, let's turn on our seatbelt signs. And let's leave these no mobile devices on auto. And let's go to decelerate this time because I don't want to mess my flight. Alright, we're very close to the top of descent, it's not calling us. Let's try to call it, because sometimes I do that, it's a mess, but let's try it. Lisbon Center, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, ready for descent. Let's see what it replies to me.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Lidro 1 Papa, runway 05.
05. Oh,
014.
expect runway 05, descent to 5,000 feet via Lidro 1 Papa, QNH 1014, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. I know this would happen. So let's go 05, approach RNAV. Let's go for the star, which is Lidro 1 Papa. Via, well, let's not do via, let's skip it as that. Temporary. And insert. So that completely messes my performance. Let's go for the destination. We got our seatbelt signs on. Let's start our descent to 5,000 feet. And enter. There we go. Starting our descent. Let's just update for the sake of updating. Too soon to have a different METAR. Let's not take chances. Yeah, too soon, but I prefer to do that. Alright, let's go back to the approach. So it's been cleared because we changed the runway. So magnetic wind, we'll just make it the previous one, 350. Right now the METAR is saying variable. 2 knots. Still safe to land anywhere, but let's keep it that. 16 outside temperature and QNH 1014. Now for the barometric, we're gonna have to go for the terminal charts. So this one's discarded. You can take Oporto 2323. Let's go for the approach. So it's Lidro 1 Papa, and then RNP for runway 05. Let's do the RNP Bravo or the Zulu. Which one's better? Yeah, the Zulu is better. So hopefully it's the one they give us. And now let's do Ludra. Where is Ludra? Ludra. Marco. This is departures, not arrivals. Lidro, 1 Papa. This is the one. Yep. Alright. So we're gonna go from Lidro, so go all the way down here to Pilim. It's the last point for the entry. Now to help us on the guidance to the runway, let's mark a fix. So we go to flight plan info, fix info. Let's do Madeira runway 05, so LPMA 05 radial. Now we're going to check on the chart for the radial. I don't know that from memory. It should be something like 049. So 049. And now let's make a radius of. So, question: what's the radius on this? Let's do a 10-mile radius. This will draw a little blue line in a blue circle. It's going to be an A. To see the line is already here, blue dotted line. So this line is going to help us guide us towards the runway. It's actually the other way around. So this is 049. Should be. Oh my. Me and my math. So bad at math. So 049 plus 90 is not 90, 180. What am I saying? 049 plus 180. 229, of course. So radial should be 229. Now it's correct. All right. Now the line's going to be, yeah, there it is. It's barely, you can barely see it, but it's right there. It's going to help us guide us to 05. In any case, we'll be doing the RNAV approach, so it's going to be like following this line here. It's going to be pretty much semi-automatic. It's going to be fun with all this weather up ahead. See, it's all yellow here. So usually I turn on the terrain to my colleague here to see where terrain ahead, and then I'll turn my terrain as well. So now that we got everything programmed, we can go back to accelerated time for a moment. So the plane will start descending, and as it does, we're going to hit some speed restrictions as well as altitude restrictions. So basically the plane is telling me that current speed restriction is around 283 to 82 knots, something like that. But then as we go approach Madeira, the speed restriction is going to drop and the plane will attempt to decelerate. If not, we can extend our speed brakes. That's what they're there for. So we're not yet on the turbulent area, but we will be in a moment as we reach Pilim. You can see that we already have a very strong crosswind, 75 knots. It's pushing our tail to the left. Well, it's pushing our nose to the right, tail to the left. So it's literally tracking to the right while our heading is continuously sideways. Got some thunderstorms. I can see these large yellow blips here. So before we reach these restrictions here, I'm going to take out the plane out of accelerated time. We might have a nasty surprise. Some flashes of thunderstorm. The radar is glitching. Sometimes it happens. I can assure you there's major storm up ahead. Let's take out of, should be coming up on Lidro anytime. Oh, there it is. Let's see it, it's right there. So we passed Lidro and we're dropping to all the way down to Pylon. It's our little magenta plane. It's hard to see sometimes because it's so small. So this is our first restriction. We need to go below 4,000 feet and on Pylon above 3,000 feet. So ideally we'll continue our descent after the 5,000 that we're clear to, but the plane will stop at 4,000 because we need to be above 4,000, and then we're just going to stop at 3,000 because we need to be above 3,000. But then it's going to be unrestricted descent. We can't go that low without some clearances. So you can see the slight right turn I was talking about earlier. It's very subtle, but we do need to make a little turn here. Course correction. The plane's VNAV is a little wonky. It should be keeping up 280 knots, but for some reason it's below that. Sometimes it accelerates, sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. This is engine thrust management. It's not really good at doing that at the moment. So for this to be within the brackets, it's alright, but for this to be perfect, the plane should be accelerating to this 283 knots or something. But it's always coming below that. This is a characteristic of this software. So if we didn't have so many clouds, we should be seeing Port Saint up ahead. We do see it on our terrain data here. So Port Saint is somewhere over here. So somewhere over there. Can't see zip because clouds. We do see this orange, kind of orange light. That's where Madeira Island is. So, also see some, oh there it is. Sports Center right there. Little lights down here. You can also see some slightly yellowish light here. It's the street lights.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, contact Madeira, approach 119.605.
Approaching 119.605 Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. 119.605. 119.605. There we go. Actually, my radios are off. Madeira approach Air Portugal 77 Zulu with you. Flight level 100.
expect the RNAV Zulu runway 05 with the piling transition.
Expect RNAV Zulu for runway 05 via the pilot transition. QNH 1014, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. So we got the Zulu RNAV. So winds are picking up a little bit here. So which one did we pick? Alright, let's go for the Zulu RNAV. Same transition. Let's delete this continuity and insert. So we don't have the RNAV we wanted. Or did we? Oh no, we do. The Zulu. Wind is very aggressive. So I forgot to insert the pylon. It's not accepting pylon. Oh, there it is. Let's remove this continuity. Alright. Let's hope for the best now. Because I don't see a curve there. This is not going to go well. We're still too high. We need to go down faster, so let's extend the speed brakes and let's allow the plane to nose dive a little bit. Because they're very, very high. We should be at 4,000 feet. We're at 7,000 feet, so we need to nosedive, literally nosedive, to keep up with the descent rate, which we should be on this little yellow dot here.
77 Zulu Heavy, descend to 3,000 feet, QNH 1014.
Descend 3,000 feet, QNH 1014, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. So let's confirm 1004, 1004, 1014.
Cleared direct piling, cross piling at or above 3,000 feet, cleared RNAV Zulu runway 05.
Clear for the RNAV Zulu for runway 05, expect 3,000 at pylon, maintaining 3,000, Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. So this is not the transition I had hoped for, but there's some mild weather up ahead. So let's go back to 1014. We should be reducing to 230 knots. We're right on the mark. We're on the performance descent. Let's retract our speed brakes. Alright, let's go for the approach checklist real quick. Barrel reference set. Minimums are not set. I'll do it in a moment. Runway conditions set, and auto brake will be set also in a moment. So auto brake, let's go to medium. It's going to happen very, very fast now. Let's turn on our every lights we got on board. And it's raining. Perfect. It's not going to be a pleasant one. Some red marks up ahead. Hopefully it's going to follow these tracks. I think it's not going to follow zip. Yeah, it's not going to follow anything. I'm going to have to do this manually, unfortunately. Let's keep on descending. Don't know why. Keep descending, so let's go for 203. Go old school on this descent. So I'm following the RNAV chart here. This is the correct RNAV Zulu. I also picked the correct Zulu, but it's completely ignoring my inputs. So let's go for MA526. Lots of turbulence here. Got a red alert there. Runway's right there. So as we reach these points here, if I don't have a runway at decision height, which should be the minimum, 530. So we're gonna be making a decision at 530 feet. So bear of 530. Should not be doing this at this point, but it is what it is. 530. Here we go. So, let's flaps. Let's get the plane dirty. Speed brakes are armed. Rain stopped. Let's carry on to Mach 526, and we'll make our decisions as we go. Wind is very, very wobbly. Let's see if we can observe the runway. More or less, it's behind those clouds down there. I'm gonna have to start a descent. I forgot to clear descent. There we go. Speed check, flaps full. At MA522, should be at 2,000 feet. We're 1,000 feet above, so still descending. So we should be 2,000 feet, and then at 520, which is right here at Gilles, we should be at 1,000. 2,500 check, 1,200 feet. Still no runway in sight. It's gonna be a mess. Hope I can see the runway. Start a little turn here to Gilles. Still no runway. Oh, I can see something. I think we can make it. Autopilot off. Start our turn. Turn our flight director off. So landing checklist. So it's the cam status. So let's go gear down. Cabin's not ready, but checklist complete. VREF is 129 knots. What the hell was that? Carry on. Yeah, I can see the runway more or less on the right side.
Airporto 77 Zulu Heavy, contact Madeira Tower 124.
Too low. 124.66 Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy. I need a co-pilot. 1, 2, 4, 6, 6. Madeira Tower, Portugal, 77 Zulu Heavy with you to land runway 05.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, Madeira Tower, wind variable, runway 05 cleared to land.
Clear to land 05 Air Portugal, 77 Zulu Heavy. I think we should have aborted by now, but because I can't really see the runway. But I know this airport really well, so trust me on this one. Really improvising. I may have messed up in putting the final approach data, so bear with me. So nose down, coming out of 1,200 feet. Actually, I'm 100 feet below. That's Gilles over there. And now let's line it up to land. Right about there. There's a runway. Saved by the runway. Slight turn to the right and we'll be fine. 1,000 feet check. Turning. Little high.
500.
And a little to the left.
400.
Little low.
300. 200, 100, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Ooh.
Auto brake off.
Oh crap. Pressed the brakes by accident. It's fine.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, exit next available taxiway.
Very heavy rain. Can't see anything.
Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, exit next available taxiway.
Can't see Zippo. Ah, better. Air Portugal 77 Zulu Heavy, runway vacated. Now let's select our ground ops. Start our APU here. There's really no visibility actually. So we're gonna stop here and request to follow me. So let's think. Yeah, let's go for the Alpha 16 and request to follow me. Oh, little car here, but that's not to follow me. Oh, visibility is just wind. There's a follow me. Visibility is gone. Little follow me. Let's go. Go, go. It's really miserable. Right turn. Gotcha. It's right here. So let's turn off our taxi lights because we'll not be able to see much with them on. Let's zoom on our friend here. There we go. Parking brake set. I stopped when you told me to. Don't wave off like that. Right, engine's off. Our APU is bleeding. Stopping number 1 and stopping number 2.
The boarding requested.
Beacons off. Let's run our parking checklist. Parking brake and shocks are on. Wing lights off. And now pumps. This beeping sound is GSX telling me to open the cargo and the passengers doors. Checklist complete. The jetways are in. Let's turn off our ground spoilers. Radar is off. Let's turn everything off. Let's prepare
Passenger's bus is coming.
for the next flight tomorrow morning for our colleagues. So let's request a GPU. And our chocks are on. GPU is on. Turn off APU. Turn off the nav, IRS, and the crew oxygen supply. Let's go for the secure aircraft. Actually, parking brake is on. ADRs are off. Oxygen is off. External lights as required. It's currently on because there's still operations going.
Passengers deboarding starting.
Ground servicing as required. External power also as required. Emergency exit lights to off. All the other lights off. Nav lights, let's keep it at 2. EFBs, let's ignore that, and batteries, let's also ignore that for now. So this should be as required if on a turnaround basis. could also be completed later as you finish ops on the plane. So that's it. We have arrived in Madeira. Really nasty weather coming in. Our passengers are going home. Can't see zip all the way down, so the airport is completely overrun by fog and rain. Not good for landing, but we were very lucky when we were on the approach. You could actually see the runway. It was pretty cool. So that's it. Hopefully this would be a real life operation from TAP with Airbus A350. It unfortunately isn't. The little bags are coming down. It's pretty cool.
All aircraft be advised, information Romeo now current QNH1014.
So hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Passengers bus is coming. Passengers deboarding starting.